into it with this one right here. We got HP Boys with the reminder. We got their exclusive one. They got a main one. I actually just seen this one too a couple like minutes ago. Me coming through, but especially with the HP Boys, like they got a reminder one, so they got a whole thing just coming into this one right here, like the whole thing. Especially with them, because they have exclusive ones. Like they be having a lot of exclusive stuff, like your producers and all that other stuff. Like they be having a lot of making into their music. And I seen this one. I had to get on this one because especially the HPs, like they be having some consuming ones. Like they be having a crazy consuming storm. Like their stuff be some other levels. But especially with this whole one right here and everything else too, like they be having a whole pursuer, like they be having, especially the engineer too. It be so deep into, like they be having a whole thing. But especially with them, 'cause me knowing about them for a while now, like they actually been doing their thing for a bit while. So it been a minute since they've been doing all their whole thing and everything else too. So especially with everything else in their moments and everything else, especially all their music they make just some impressive stuff.
Yeah. Hey, a wise man once told me, if you want to play silly games, you gotta win silly prizes, man.
So you gonna tell him, say it how it is, man. Come on.
Had to remind him who's boss. Came in the game for the prof. You will get crossed. It's all part of the pros. Only count money on the loss, and I don't stop. On the way to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise. Money can't change me. I was there broke doing 80 in the back street going crazy. Had to feed my baby.
We said in the back street going crazy, going, hey, especially the whole thing too, and especially how it started off too. Like you really got it coming from a zero to a whole star, like 100. Like the whole thing, the way this whole thing is already processed too. Like they be coming in, like they be having bars after considers and everything else. Like you can't even miss a single lyrics like what they be coming from.
Who's boss? Came in the game for the prof. You will get crossed. It's all part of the pros. Only count money on the loss, and I don't stop. On the way to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise. Money can't change me. I was there broke doing 80 in the back street going crazy. Had to feed my babies one way or another. Really been a sinner from the start, brother. Yeah, never.
We said one way or another was a sinner from the sense to stay. Was a sinner from the start. He said you gotta do it one thing or another, like especially everything else too. And he said pumping, like he pumping 180, like you on a speed too, you doing 180 too, like you doing 80 per hours and everything else too. Like just you got the whole thing coming through it.
Feed my babies one way or another. Really been a sinner from the start, brother. Yeah, never been soft like butter. Run a brownie, you get done up. Shut up, brother, you can get cut up. Still no chill, got a bill from the mud up. One up, yeah, I still make it look easy. Always give it out to the needy, never been greedy. My points I make clearly, say gotta say it sincerely. Money come easy, and it go like a GT. Spinning on the M-way speeding, so I can't stop. Anytime there's a loss, cause we just gotta move along. Take it how you want, had to remind them who's boss. Came in the game for the prof, you will get crossed. It's all part of the pros. Only count money on the loss, and I don't stop. On the way.
Oh, it's all part of the prop. Hey, it's all part of the prop too, especially with their whole thing too. They be having the whole thing engineered too. Like they be having so much things going on at once. Like you be like, what's actually going on in these particular things? Because you be seeing like a whole thing, like a whole benefit, like everything is just scratched off. Like everything is just normal, everything else too. Because especially with their whole movement, like they be having a whole movement thing. Like you would never know what it's gonna come to. Like
to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise.
Move along, try to get with it, always get done when I step in it. Mine where you step, got fresh linen. I ain't in it for the fame, but it comes with the way that I'm living. All these fakes start grinning when we been winning. Let it be known that we caught in their own feelings. Ain't G start when we been real, it's hard to tell who's faking or not. Been through a lot, I ain't trying to get stuck in a box. Down in the drought, gotta re-up from a loss. Spend it back and make it, yeah, I gotta take it. I can never fall, gotta flip it then replace it. Hey, what? Cause I started off minimal, just to get a little more dosh. A loss, spend it back and make it, yeah, I gotta take it. I can never fall, gotta flip it then replace it. Hey, what? Cause I started off minimal just to get a little more dosh. You already know what it costs just to be what? You couldn't fit in these socks.
Ooh, and how he just put that, how he just put the whole thing, like he said, like put it how it was, and he didn't like that's like a uncross. Like you can't even cross that line at that point. Like it's uncross walk, like a nun thing. Like he said, coming from that, like you can't even prudentially fit in his socks and everything else too. So it, especially with the whole thing just rolling, like they be having a whole skit like going on.
What? Cause I started off minimal just to get a little more dosh. You already know what it costs just to be what? You couldn't fit in these socks.
Yeah. So it's gonna go like this. Had to remind him who's who. Had to remind him who's boss. What the hell is this? Hey, what did we do? Oh, not bust my phone over there.
Had to remind him who's boss. Came in the game for the prof. You will get crossed. It's all part of the pros. Only count money on the loss, and I don't stop. On the way to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise. Had to remind him who's boss. Came in the game for the prof. You will get crossed. It's all part of the pros. Only count money on the loss, and I don't stop. On the way to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise.
Ooh, and I like that process and God, like coming from that,
Progress and be precise.
be precise. Ooh, that's like those are like two inventory words right there. Like coming from those whole things too. Like it's all of a process and stuff like that too. So it just comes into rules and everything else.
Don't stop. On the way to the top, many enemies get dropped. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, cause I had to progress and be precise.
Hey, this one right here, they made a movie. They made a movie into this one right here. Like this one right here was exclusive. Like you see all the entrepreneurs and all that other stuff. The people that produced this and made the headlines. Like shout out to all the producers and all the people that do their thing. Cause those people be working. Those people actually be putting a lot of benefits in and stuff like that too. Because it comes into a lot of this and stuff like that. But we got with the reminder and especially from HP Boys. I haven't heard nothing from them in a minute. Like it's been a minute since I actually checked something out like recently. So it's been a minute since I actually got into something, especially with the HP Boys, because I know they dropped. I know they had some other music too, but I seen it. But you know, this is the main one I seen the recently one. So with everything else just coming into this one right here, definitely with this one and everything else too. But everything else is this.